The cooperation from the spectators and the teams here has been unbelievable. There's only one thing left to do, and that's finish out these last 55 laps.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time. The field is set and we're ready to go, and leading them down, it's Joe B. Miller with Jonathan Beeson to his outside as they go into 3. And out of corner number 4, green flag, we go racing. Joe B to the bottom, and Beeson follows, bringing Kevin Thomas Jr. up into 3rd. Jason McDougal in the 4th spot. Sitting in 5th, it's Cody Key in the 1J. 1 lap in, 54 to go. This is a marathon, not a sprint, although it'll get to sprint status at some point.
Yeah, Flood's the first guy on the outside trying to make something happen. Right now he's stuck on the outside of Mitchell Moles as the yellow flag is out.
It looks like Chris Andrews coming to a stop right to the entrance to turn 3.
On the backstretch, we got Bright and Aiden Perdue stopped also.
So that potent combination of Chris Andrews and Justin Blevins.
Purdue's front end is folded under. Bright's left rear is broken. Here's a look at what happened.
Down the back straightaway, and Bright, I don't know if Bright was folded up before that started to happen, but Bright gets in on the tail end of it. One of those quality Hyper Racing cars that is one of our day sponsors here. A big thank you to Hyper Racing, as well as PitstopUSA.com and fine folks at Joe's Racing Products. Jonathan Beeson, Kevin Thomas Jr., Jason McDougal, and Cody Key as we go green. Back straightaway, Joe B. Miller. I mean, he came from 24th. Imagine what he's going to do from the pole.
Yeah, absolutely. Joe's setting a torrid pace right now, but can he maintain it? And just as I say that, Beeson closing in really fast, just like we saw last year in the early stages of our feature.
This looks very Chili Bowl-esque, where everybody's in the same lane early on. You got a 55-lapper, and there's a ton of time for the racetrack to develop. Key early is not to lose or go too far back. As you're watching Beeson close on Joe B, lap times are down low 11-second bracket, so it is a very fast race surface early.
Jason McDougal starting to recover a little bit after losing that 3rd spot to Kevin Thomas Jr. But right now, everybody just mashing the gas on that moisture on the bottom side of the racetrack.
Until the bottom starts to wear out, there's no reason to really move or get off it. You heard, I think it was Brent Cruz or it was Chase Cabry earlier call it a dyno session, and the early races of this are looking like that unless you miss your line and get out of place, which Cody Key is in danger of doing, as Eric Jenninen right up in the back of him, and Mitchell Moles is coming on with him.
Yeah, Mitchell Moles sneaks underneath the 81 of Frank Flood. That moves him up into about the 6th or 7th spot.
8 laps in, so we've got a heat race worth of racing done. And the bottom still remaining good, as going backwards is Brenham Crouch, going forwards is Tyler Courtney. Sunshine's worked his way up to 12th from 16th.
Caleb, we see some guys starting to slip on the entry into turn 1 and 2 especially, so track is starting to wear out. It's not going to take long once it starts to go for it to really transition here and start moving around.
Do you want to be Joe B and go up to the top, go high first, or do you think Beeson's going to be there?
He may not have an option once we get to lap traffic. It might be time to move and shake, but Beeson's right there to capitalize on any little movement from Joe B.
Yeah, Joe B is less than a straightaway away. In fact, a half straightaway from coming up on Russ Dysinger at the back of the field. As again, you're looking at positions 6, 7, and 8. 73 being driven by Jaden Rogers. That's Rogers, not Jenninen, sorry. Mitchell Moles and Frank Flood.
Joe B has officially caught lap traffic as he closes in on the back of Dysinger.
A little over a fifth of the way through the race at this point in time. Joe B. Miller, as you're watching the ticker, sparking up that tie brake rotor coming in on Dysinger. Joe B's going to have to make the moves in traffic, and he has got multiple-time shootout winner Jonathan Beeson lingering back a couple of car lengths behind him.
Caleb, him sparking that brake rotor early on right now could have implications later if we don't get a caution for that thing to cool down. That brake rotor gets super hot and you start wearing through your brake pads. So something to keep an eye on if we don't catch a caution here before too long.
Well, especially as this race is going to transition to the cushion at some point in time. Running the cushion with no brakes, treacherous at best. As has Dysinger in front of him. Dysinger's actually kind of in the middle, so there's a lane for Joe B to get underneath him if opportunity arises. Still going to reel him in a little bit, and Joe B slipping off the bottom of 4. Beeson coming in.
Yeah, those guys closing on each other, and KT and Jason McDougal closing in on your lead too.
Jonathan Beeson now a car length back from Joe B. Miller. Joe B. Miller a much better 3 and 4 that time as they come on. Dysinger surprised. Everybody still glued to the low side of the raceway. Miller trying to make the move on Dysinger. Can Beeson capitalize?
Yeah, Beeson needs to be right there when Joe B makes his move and not let Dysinger slip back down in front of him and take that line.
Dysinger went way high, giving your leader room to get by with ease. And Beeson going to follow him on through. Joe B uses it to clear and get a little room coming up on Kyle Spence now racing with Jason Pursley. And this race taking a long green flag run here. They have clipped off 21 of the 55 laps.
Yeah, Kevin Thomas Jr. starting to follow along with these two, kind of keeping pace. An even gap back from your leader Joe B to Jonathan Beeson to Kevin Thomas Jr.
There's McDougal, lap car of Dysinger in 5th place, Cody Key. As we're approaching halfway, not quite there yet. A look at Kevin Thomas Jr. sitting in position 3. He was looking to make up some ground on Jonathan Beeson. 4th and 5th, Jason McDougal in 73. And the 1 of Cody Key as Miller into heavier traffic now. Kyle Spence first up. Beeson right there in the rear bumper entering turn number 1. We're down to 30 laps to go as they cross the transponder loop this time. Joe B. Miller, Jonathan Beeson, 1-2. Kevin Thomas Jr. looking to narrow the gap.
The track starting to wide out. No real movers and shakers yet as there's contact between your top two. Beeson letting Joe B. Miller, I'm here. Don't slip up or I'm going to go right by you.
It was a love tap at first, just let you know, hey, big boy, I'm a-coming. Off the bottom of 2, and Miller, you saw the back end of the car out just a little bit. Not a big enough mistake for Jonathan to capitalize. And again, I wonder, when somebody going up, lap times are falling off. They're into the 12s and 13s now, with a driver right in the way of Joe B. Miller, who rides the apron in 3 and 4.
Oh, Joe B. left the door halfway open. Beeson can't capitalize on it, but we're getting awful close. We're halfway through the race. Track's going to start opening up here at any moment.
Jonathan Beeson just a little bit away from Joe B. Miller. And you got to be careful because it's bringing the rest of the field with you. Kevin Thomas Jr. starting to enter the picture, and McDougal also closing in.
The hard part about moving up right now is they've thrown so much dirty, loose crumbles up high that you can't really make a whole lot of grip on that. 1 and 2, a lot cleaner of a corner than 3 and 4 is, but still just real questionable right now whether you move up or not.
Mitchell Moles has cleared Jaden Rogers. He's in 6th. Frank Flood working into 7th. And Tyler Courtney has gone up to the high side. Tyler Courtney, one of the big movers, started 16th. Math quickly 7th or 8th right now and advancing, working on Frank Flood.
Courtney was the first to actually try the top side there in 1 and 2 about 2 laps ago, and I think he's starting to find it. As you guys mentioned, it's starting to widen out as there goes a big puff of smoke.
And it's
that's Jake Galusha. Yeah, Jake Galusha in the 2.
Kaboom.
This is going to be our first real caution.
Got a chance to give you a field rundown as soon as it resets, as we are going to be, looks like 31 of 55 in, just a barely regular A main to go at this point. Joe B. Miller leads Jonathan Beeson and Kevin Thomas. Then Jason McDougal, Cody Key, Mitchell Moles, Frank Flood, Jaden Rogers, Tyler Courtney in 9th, and Kenny Miller in 10th. So Galusha done. He'll push it into the infield and in and through.
Man, clean air here for your leader, Joe B. Miller. It'll be interesting to see if Beeson keeps pace here or if he keeps pressuring Joe B. like he has been.
Tanner Holm is 11th. Emerson Axum sitting in position number 12 on the lineup.
And guys, I was just checking the lap times too right before the caution came out. Your leaders are running about a 12.5, 12.6, but starting right around Cody Key in that 5th spot, 6th spot, Mitchell Moles, 12.4, 12.2, so that probably 4th, 5th spot, keep an eye on. They're on the move right now.
That's high indication that those guys are moving around trying to find something, just like Tyler Courtney was. I saw him running through the middle of 3 and 4, right through that dirty stuff, and there was enough there with a little bit of moisture in it that he could make some good grip.
Joe B. Miller, a little bit of a late restart, trying to get away from Jonathan Beeson, and Beeson the savvy veteran, working down. Jason McDougal going to sail it in on the high side. He's got a run on Kevin Thomas Jr. Back straightaway is McDougal finding the top.
Yeah, McDougal, the first guy to try it. Didn't seem to work there at 3 and 4, but really good through 1 and 2 on the high side. He goes right back to it, looking to get around the outside of Kevin Thomas Jr.
Warren with KT, if he can get to the bottom of 3 and 4, he's got a shot at it as Thomas Jr. sticks on the bottom. It's Mitchell Moles coming through. Moles has moved into 5th, and Frank Flood, high side, hustling himself, working on Cody Key, trying to get a position.
All following Jason McDougal's leadership there as they jump to the top side, and Mitchell Moles will clear Key. Now set his sights underneath Kevin Thomas Jr. side by side. Mitchell Moles now moving up.
Mitchell Moles might have the fastest car on the racetrack right now. He is really driving by guys left and right.
I don't know, that 81 car looks potent right in behind him as Frank Flood trying to pick off Kevin Thomas Jr. down to the bottom of the racetrack. Back straight away for Flood, and Flood's got a nose on him going into the corner.
So far, McDougal hasn't been able to dial up enough momentum to run down your top 2.
Yeah, your front 2 have got a little bit of a gap on J-Mac. And in fact, there's a little bit of a gap between Miller and Beeson at this point, bigger than we've seen in a long time, as Joe B. Miller making all the right calls. And now McDougal got to deal with Mitchell Moles. Moles working to the inside of Jason.
That's a race for your final podium spot as we flash back to your leader. There's a look at the gaps between everybody. Moles to the bottom of 1 and 2, McDougal high.
McDougal bouncing off the cushion. Moles actually went sliding through the slick in the middle of turn number 2. So Moles back to the bottom of 3 and 4 as McDougal winding her up around the top side. Laps are not long at this point as we're coming in on 15 to go, and it has been all Joe B. Miller.
Your lead 2 haven't left the bottom one time yet, just following each other with about a 3 or 4 car gap between each other. Moles sliding high off turn 2, pressuring McDougal.
Yeah, Mitchell Moles then just suddenly committed to the bottom, found something in 1 and 2, slips off the bottom in 3 and 4, but pressuring Jason McDougal is allowing your top 2 to really pull away now.
Moles slide job through 1 and 2. Can't complete it as McDougal back to the bottom, looking to hold the position. McDougal and Moles, best battle on the track, and it is for 3rd as Moles again, slide job into the corner, cross under for McDougal, textbook between those 2.
Yeah, McDougal and Moles racing each other really hard for the 3rd spot. They're really not letting your leaders get away too awful bad. It seems like they're pushing each other to find speed. That's a big mistake for McDougal right there, and he goes around.
Oh, McDougal, he had carried the inside berm with his left front tire a little too far, ran in behind, had to make a desperation move up on the top, and overcooks it. Around goes McDougal. Caution flag comes out, and that ends the bid to be the first guy to win in all 4 of the upper divisions.
Here's a look at your replay. McDougal got really high on entry right here and just caught that curb early. He was trying to get more rotated before he got to the curb and just caught it a little bit early, launching him off into the turn number 1 cushion.
It's going to keep Miller out of traffic and be tough to catch the back of the field with 13 to go. Possible, but not probable.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what Mitchell Moles does here. He's kind of been running a middle groove through 3 and 4 and all over the place through 1 and 2 while he was racing McDougal. Frank Flood's been pounding the top side as he's in the infield, actually, guys.
Yeah, Emerson Axum is too. Connor Wade, what can you see from the infield?
Yeah, well, guys, it looked like the Sinjay and the 73 and Jason McDougal were here in the infield. They both went back up to the top of the ramp. Back to you guys.
Massive restart for Beeson. Beeson on the bottom, bringing teammate Moles with him, and Jonathan Beeson's got the lead.
Beeson has the lead, but was he too far forward on that restart? That's going to be one we got to watch and see come the next break. Mitchell Moles in 2nd place. Could that be your actual leader?
If he get a break, that's going to be huge. Back straight away, we are assuming it's Beeson. Down the front stretch. Beeson and Moles now. As Joe B fading.
Cody Key coming into your picture. Cody Key underneath Joe B. Miller. Miller starting to search here in the late stages of this race, not finding any grip. Moles with the big mistake, sliding high off turn 4.
So right now it's Beeson, but the question is, are penalties coming? He opens it up big time on the back straightaway. Does Jonathan Beeson? Moles searching, Miller trying to rebound.
Moles searching. This race for 2nd is absolutely huge, as this could be the potential race for the lead. If a penalty comes down on Jonathan Beeson, it would be a 2 for 1.
There is your presumptive race leader. Beeson, Moles, Miller. As you watch Jonathan Beeson.
Your race for 2nd's heating up. That's Joe B. Miller to the high side, trying to circle around Mitchell Moles.
Wonder if Joe B thinks that this is actually the battle for the lead. He is racing like it, flies the front end up and over, loses ground to Moles.
Moles now to the high side. He's going to try and make a late race charge at Jonathan Beeson with 6 laps to go.
Jonathan Beeson nowhere near lap traffic. It's going to be clean air the rest of the way. Coming into 5 remaining, but again, the question is going to be on the call on the restart. That's really everything that matters here at this point of the race.
5 laps remaining. Beeson couldn't close it out last year. What's going to happen this year? Moles solidly in the 2nd place as Joby Miller and Cody Key battle it out for 3rd.
You saw Frank Flood parked in the infield. Key coming up on Joe B. To the bottom goes Key. Miller up on the high side, brings it back down, looking to run the bottom. Coming through 3 and 4.
Caution lights on the speedway now. Boy, this is going to set up something real good.
We're about to find out whether Jonathan Beeson really is your leader or not.
Caution lights are out. I'm not sure why, guys. I heard an ill-sounding car.
One of the 10J cars.
And we're getting word from our camera crew they may think it's coming from the Joe B. Miller machine. We'll keep a track on it as we've got eyes on Joe B. right there.
Still unsure of the cause of the caution. This is when we're going to find out if Beeson gets penalized. A 2-for-1 penalty pulling up beside Joe B. Miller on that last restart.
No indications yet.
We're going to find out right here. Terry Maddox is going to let us know. There it is. There's the penalty.
Yep, back 2 spots. Goodness gracious. Mitchell Moles is your leader. Joe B. Miller is 2nd.
That race for 2nd meant everything, and I think Joe B. Miller knew it when he was laying it all on the line, banged it off the cushion. Mitchell Moles inherits the lead right here, asking his guys, where do I need to be? What do I need to do? I can't imagine his thoughts right now.
If that engine has anything left in it, if it's still healthy enough, he needs to lead on this restart.
Here's a look at the restart right here, a replay of it.
And again, can advance your position. And front tires were up to the rear by the cone. That's advancing your position by most definitions of the word.
Guys, we have 4 laps to go. Our lights are out. Mitchell Moles is your leader. Joby Miller 2nd. Jonathan Beeson rounding out your podium at the moment.
And behind Cameron Key, Tyler Courtney from the 16th starting spot.
Oh, it's Joe B.
Joe B did not take off well.
All right, so Beeson's going to get back to 2nd. Mas Rapido, as they go down the back straightaway, going to be 3 to go this time in. So it's the battle between the teammates. If Beeson can even get up there, Mitchell Moles, who has been the king of California the last couple of years, he has racked up near triple digits in race wins.
2 flags in the air this time by for Mitchell Moles. He is committed to the bottom side. No real pressure from Jonathan Beeson. 10J top 2 cars.
Mitchell Moles, biggest win of his career. Less than a 1/6 of a mile away. Into 1 and 2. Back straightaway. No challenge. Into 3. Off of 4. Tulsa Shootout. Won by Mitchell Moles. 2nd, Jonathan Beeson. 3rd, Tyler Courtney from 16th. Cody Key. Joe B. Miller hangs on to 5th. Kevin Thomas Jr. in 6th.
Guys, this is going to be an absolute burn down fest right here and a party to go with it.
Fist pump. Mitchell Moles wanted a fist pump from Jonathan Beeson. I don't know if Beeson's ready for that yet.
Like I said, he has won everything in California for the past couple of seasons, running under the 10J banner, and now Moles, he's got a driller. No better feeling in the world as he's going to come around. Donuts in turn 4 for the man from Raisin City, California. He heard it through the grapevine. He's going to victory lane.
Boys, I think we just stand back, watch, and enjoy the emotions of this victory right here.
Emotion overcoming him in victory lane. As you look at Mitchell Moles celebrating, everybody getting in to get their hugs and such like that. It's Mitchell Moles' crowning achievement.
Everyone in the infield gets a hug.
Somebody right by one of the microphones absolutely bawling.
I would take a wild guess that that's Mom.
Justified.
Oh my God.
You can see it as Brian with the mic finally wandered away. Let's turn things over to Scotty Cook. He has got the shootout winner, Mitchell Moles.
Thank you very much, Brian Holbert. Well, I tell you what, jubilation. This young man came from well deep in the field on a racetrack that was going to be conducive to the bottom. So much unfolded for you. A long run early, the racetrack on the bottom, but it was time for the top to come in. Tell us your strategy coming in and how you played those cautions out. And then I want you to elaborate on the late race judgment call that sealed the deal for you.
Yeah, I don't know. Man, about 10 to 15 ago, I lost power steering. I thought I had a shot at beasting on the top, and my power steering went out, and I'm 120 pounds soaking wet with boots on, so that wasn't going to work. And man, I just got to thank Dennis Guile, 10J Chassis, Jared, Sean, everybody that puts this thing together for me. I mean, these guys are animals. Joe's Racing Products for covering all the parts for the car to get us out here just in case we needed anything, and Don Gould, Adams Performance, FK Shocks. Those FK Shocks were ripping right through the middle. So when you can work the middle like that, you know you're pretty good.
I was going to have you comment, after that long run, you knew you were rolling pretty well. How were you going to play your strategy out for the rest of the race? You knew Joe B. nor Jonathan had come off the bottom, and you were rolling the middle well.
Yeah, you know when you go by McDougal in the middle, you know you're going pretty good when he's on the top. So can't thank these guys enough, like I said. I mean, I wasn't even going to come to this a week ago. I was like, I'm not actually, when I got here this week, I wasn't going to race. I was just over it, and man, what a turn of events. I'm sure glad I showed up, because we got one of those little gold things to throw out the window on the way home.
You sure enough do, and representing the left coast well. As always, jubilation down here. So many of your family, your friends. First person you wanted to see when you got out of the car was Shag.
Shaggy's my boy. He's been my boy forever, and I ain't never let none of you fools take him from me.
You are the 2021 Donnie Ray Crawford Tulsa Shootout Outlaw Champion. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up one more time out of Raisin City, California, Mitchell Moles, your winner.